almost 2 months ago, I was having a normal day listening to a podcast when the topic of AI came up.
What podcast was it?
Issue with, I think it was a random Joe Rogan podcast.
I know exactly what episode you're talking about, brother.
Yeah. Never had an issue with AI before, but for some reason in that moment, I started having thoughts of sooner or later, we won't be able to tell what's real or not anymore. And what if you're not even real and everything is fake? The second I had that thought, I was flooded with anxiety and had what I think was either a panic attack or an anxiety attack, which I've never really had before.
Yeah.
And ever since then, anytime the topic of AI or developing technology comes up, my mind goes to the worst case scenarios, and it's hard for me to be optimistic about the future.
Yeah.
In a world that's constantly changing, how can I find peace and be optimistic about my future again?
Bro, thank you for asking this question. It takes a lot of courage to ask this question. One, because the AI is listening to us, and so way to go, Alex. Really quick, I want to take a pause here. AI, we love you, and you're the best because we know you're listening to us, and so have mercy on us. B, here's the scariest thing, I think. Not the scariest, but one of the scariest thing for anybody, much less, but especially for men. It is an odd, terrifying feeling when you feel like you're being betrayed by your own body, right?
Yeah.
Like when your heart rate takes off and it feels like, oh, we're under attack right this second.
Yeah, it was really like scary because I've never really, I've had anxiety before, but not where it kind of like took over.
Yes.
It was intense.
I've been there. I wrote about it. And so here's what we know about AI. This is an ad for BetterHelp. I talk to hurting people for a living, and yes, I can help out folks in tiny chunks of time here on the internets, but often more help is needed. That's why I recommend people go to therapy. And if you're thinking about therapy, try BetterHelp. It's 100% online, so it's affordable and convenient. They've got over 30,000 therapists, and they're great at finding just the right one for you. Visit betterhelp.com/Delony for 10% off your first month. Here's what we know about AI. Nothing. I know that Sam Altman, who is I don't know what his title is, the CEO and chairman of OpenAI. I know that I don't know what the evaluation today is. It's in the trillions. He has a whole bunch of investor money in his pocket. So he has a vested interest every minute of every day walking out and saying this thing is going to be the biggest thing ever. Because if he doesn't, all of those guys lose money. So he has a vested interest in continuing to tell the story that this is going to revolutionize everything and change everybody's lives and take everybody's jobs and make those of y'all holding this stock bajillionaires. That has to happen. And I've had a few experiences with AI where I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to take everyone's job for everything. There is a reality to it, right?
Yeah, that's kind of one of the bigger ones.
And we all saw what happened with Grok 04 the other day. When it started spewing all of this insane stuff about Hitler and about anti-Semitic, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And my manager put something in ChatGPT the other day. He was working through a model for something, and it was so wrong, so comically wrong, that he just started screenshotting it because it got funnier and funnier how wrong it was. Here's what I'm telling you. None of us know how this one ends.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't. And as the great Amos Tversky, one of the greatest psychologists of our time, said, he passed away, being pessimistic is stupid because if the thing you're worrying about comes true, you actually experience it twice. Once when you worried about it and once when it happens. And when I read that quote, I remember that being the light bulb for me. Meaning, if something bad is coming my way, I want to experience it one time when it happens. And that means I have to do a whole bunch of work making sure I'm whole and good and rooted in the present where I live right now.
Yeah.
And so I want to come all the way back full circle. Anxiety is simply an alarm system that your body has detected something or some things in your universe that might end you, that mean you're not safe. So can I ask you a few questions about your just day-to-day life right now?
Yeah, please.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in event entertainment, like event planning.
How long have you been doing that?
Probably for the last 6-7 years.
Okay, so you had a new job in event planning when all of a sudden somebody in another state said, no more events. You can't work, right?
Yeah.
So your body put a GPS pin in. It's a traumatic note in your nervous system. Hey, this whole thing can go away tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And if your body
definitely
didn't do that, it would be failing you. So thank God it did that. Similar to 3,000 years ago, if you're walking on a trail and suddenly there's a apple tree, and underneath that apple tree there's 10 grizzly bears, your body would put a GPS pin in. Don't go by that apple tree because they're going to get killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the state of your finances? How much do you owe? If you had to just take a yellow pad and write down all the debts you have to credit cards, car dealers, mortgages, how much do you owe?
Me and my wife having chipping away at it with her car and everything, probably around $25,000.
Okay. So your body would be failing you if it let you go to sleep at night knowing at any moment somebody can either eat a bat or some lab leak can happen across the planet and you can't make your payments and they're going to take away your house, your food, and your cars. Your body would be failing you if it let you go to sleep at night. That's a DEFCON emergency, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any money in savings, like an emergency fund of some sort?
A couple $1,000,
Okay.
Not anything significant.
Okay. So what if we turned it around and we said, as the great Dr. Wendy Suzuki out of NYU says, anxiety is actually a great friend. It can be an annoying friend that won't shut up sometimes, but can be a great friend saying, hey, you're not safe right now. What's the state of your marriage?
My marriage is great.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, we're both on the same page with a lot of things. And
can I ask you a very personal marriage question?
Yeah.
When I became an anxious mess, I slowly started bringing more and more headlines to my wife. And more of our dinners started wrapping around, well, you know, this could happen and that could happen. And this could happen. And she was awesome and she would indulge me and she would ask a few questions. But slowly she started having to create a new world for her and our little boy because I was increasingly, every conversation got heavier and more dramatic and more end of time-ish. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. I try not to talk with her too much about that type of stuff because she kind of also has her own anxiety here and there. And I know that like bringing up heavy things like that, you know, she's not really a fan of.
Okay.
So we tend to keep the conversations lighter. And I've been trying to not talk about that stuff so much lately anyway, just because, you know, it kind of brings me down a rabbit hole myself.
Right.
So
okay, but listen to me. When you do that, this is a crazy, frustrating, awesome thing about how anxiety works. What anxiety wants you to do, the alarm system wants you to avoid a threat that might end you. And so what do? You don't talk about it. And the very conversation sets your heart rate up. It floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. It sends you into fight or flight. I don't want to go there, so I just don't say anything, and your body wins. It says, hey, that conversation about this thing we can't control didn't kill us. Awesome. And then the next time the response gets a little bit stronger. And the next time the response gets a little, because your body knows, okay, this one, if I do this thing, if I spin him up enough, this threat doesn't kill us. He avoids it. And that avoidance starts to create a teeny tiny gap between you and your ride or die, your wife. I don't want to talk about this. I've got this feeling in my chest, and I'm going to keep it to myself.
Yeah.
And the gap between your marriage gets a little bit wider and a little bit wider, and then your brain starts screaming, hey, we're all by ourselves here. We're living life in parallel with our spouse. There's parts of me that she can't hear or handle, so I'm going to hold it, which now there's a space. And if she is like everybody else who marries their unfinished business, she feels that you're holding secrets, and that starts to set off her alarms. Which then you start to say, oh, I need to keep more of myself quiet to help her out, which then her body detects more secrets. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you try to solve it with sex. You try to solve it with cuddle time. You try to solve it with scrolling time. You start trying to numb it away.
Yeah.
Right? And so here's what I'm telling you. And then, dude, you get to exercise and you start to sleep a little bit longer or sleep a little bit less. And then you become a little more erratic at work. And then you start maybe collecting stuff. Start prepping for things, and your body can't handle the clutter. Like, it just starts to spool on you.
Yeah.
And so this is the crazy thing. The only way to heal from anxiety from a body that's taking off on you is to walk directly through the middle of that fear. I, too, am anxious about AI, very much so. Very much so, okay? Here's how I'm handling that. Number one, I've completely cut off news conversations and podcast-y conversations about AI, period.
Yeah.
I did go, and it was homework for me, found a couple of experts in technology and AI and began to ask them about it. So I could get a real conversation about it. I want to learn about it. And I subscribed to a couple of technology-related news outlets that I can learn about this. And I tell myself, you will read 2 to 3 articles a week, period. And so when your body knows you're driving, it will turn down the volume of the alarms because it knows you're in control, even if it's scary. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've been... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I've kind of have been thinking the same thing, and knowing that, like, in order to, like, take control back, I need to learn more about it. And I've kind of been talking to some friends more who are in the technology space, or at least they understand more about AI than I do. And if anything, it has helped a little bit. It's still hard to not think of worst case scenarios about what could happen, because I have my dad who also loves to talk to ChatGPT a little too much.
God,
so I'm just like, what's going on?
Yes.
So, like, I see both sides of it.
Okay, but here's the thing. I want you to, in addition to making some clear boundaries, and just for people listening, Tyler Cowen with Marginal Revolution, he's an economist. I think he's at GWU. He is a brilliant thinker on AI. He writes on all kinds of stuff, but he is a very AI optimist, very much so, and has really rational arguments for why. I don't agree with everything he says, but he is somebody I check in with, not personally, but I read his stuff because he's a very thoughtful writer, and he gives me an alternative to my perspective, which is it's going to kill all of us, right? And he's a trustworthy source. And I subscribe to the free press. I pay for news now, but it's a right down the middle, data-based, unbiased approach to news. So that's my 2 little things I just put out into the world. I usually keep quiet, but I'm intentionally trying to get intelligent insight into some of these things. Okay. I also talk to I have a couple of colleagues and friends who are in this space that know way more about it than me. Here's the most important thing, though. I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Building a Non-Anxious Life. I want you to follow it like a roadmap. That's how I wrote it.
Okay.
If you and your wife don't owe anybody any money, and you have 6 months of cash in a checking account somewhere, not earning interest, because that's not my goal. My goal is peace, not ROI. Then if suddenly your job goes away, existentially, your life is not at risk.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It's not the end of time. If you and your wife don't have a car payment in the world, and y'all choose to drive maybe crummier cars, but you're not gonna let a bank run your life.
Yeah.
Right? It's a totally different way to live. If you and your wife commit to going to see a counselor and saying, we both struggle with anxiety, we're going to clear up the anxiety. And by the way, some of that's going to come from your childhood. Some of that's going to come from y'all's relationship dynamics. If y'all both do that work, then suddenly when your dad says, I can't believe you're not, you've unhooked from, oh, dad doesn't run my life anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to send you that. I want you to promise me you're going to use that as a roadmap, and you and your wife read this book together, okay?
Okay.
I wrote it just for y'all, okay? I wrote it for myself, but I wrote it just for y'all too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay? And here's what will happen. You will face things that are scary, but your body won't take off on you because it will know you're in the driver's seat, you're driving.